Broken Neck Radio. We only have one rule. No Nickelback or fucking Creed. I fucking hate those guys.
Alright, what is up everybody? It is me, Insanity, here, and I am live here at the International with two members from Revocation. I've got Dave Davidson, and I've got
Phil
Dubois from the band here. And thank you very much, guys, for taking some time to interview with me here. And let me ask you first, how's the tour been with Devil Driver and Whitechapel so far?
It's been really good, man. We're about probably 3.5 weeks in, and everything's going great.
Very cool. What's it like? You've been pretty close to those guys. Been able to hang out with them a lot, and that's pretty cool stories.
All the bands have been hanging.
A lot of parking lot, after the show.
Oh yeah.
Drinking sessions. We've toured with Whitechapel before. So we've already have a relationship with them, and for every other band, it's our first time touring with. But yeah, we're getting along great. It's been a lot of laughs and a lot of killer shows. Yeah,
I've heard those guys are pretty fun out on the road, Whitechapel, because they're from here and everything. So I've heard that they're really wild, and especially Phil. I've heard Phil is kind of I've heard he's kind of a wild man. I don't know if those stories are true.
Pretty quiet. Really.
Yeah, he's really quiet. Wow.
They're not really wild men at all. I mean, they hang out, but maybe we just haven't seen the crazy side yet.
Maybe he hasn't. Maybe he hadn't come out of his show yet. Let me ask you something. I know you guys changed your name back in 2006. What was the idea? What was the whole idea behind the name change, and what do you guys feel that came with the name change of Revocation? What did you guys hope to gain from that change?
Just a fresh start. We were Cryptic Warning for a long time, and the material that we had written was progressing a lot, and also just sort of our attitude as a band to just take the band more seriously and get to that next level. So we figured, we built up a little bit of a following in Massachusetts, but we never really broke out from that. So it was really just a fresh start.
I got you. Now, what kind of mistakes, when you guys were Cryptic Warning, what kind of mistakes did you guys make, as a start, starting out as a band? What were the most common mistakes you guys made?
We were just so young. We didn't really know how to go about booking shows. We didn't really know how to record a record. We had no idea how to tour. I mean, everything, we didn't know how to run the business. Everything we did, we had to kind of learn by trial and error.
Yeah, we never even made T-shirts, it was just lots of little things when you're in your teens. I mean, we're just happy to play shows, but we weren't thinking let's make T-shirts with our logo on it and sell them at shows, so just shit like that.
So were you guys a do-it-yourself band with Cryptic Warning, then you guys have started to get more and more into maybe the management and label side of it later?
Even as Revocation, we toured for a couple of years, not full time, but we did several tours that we booked all ourselves, and
very cool.
It wasn't until I think 2008 that we finally signed with Relapse, and then put our first album out with them in 2009.
Yeah, definitely.
So we were still kind of doing the DIY thing as Revocation for a few years.
That's pretty awesome. I have a lot of respect for the DIY bands because especially with the popularity of social media and everything like that, it seems like do-it-yourself bands are actually, it's quite common to see a few bands that actually do the do-it-yourself thing. And what was the biggest challenge as far as before you guys actually got on Relapse? What was the biggest challenge to being a DIY band?
I mean, just booking tours. I mean, in the Boston scene, we didn't have too much work because we had a lot of friends. I mean, we'd play punk rock basement shows or random warehouses or do the club circuit in Mass with other metal bands. But I mean, as soon as you get out of your comfort zone, it's really hard to make connections with other people, because essentially you have to convince a stranger basically to book a show for a band that maybe they've never even heard of. So just making those connections, trading favors, all that kind of thing. And we definitely went through a lot of trial and error with finding the right people to work with, and who to hit up for shows and all that kind of stuff.
Very cool. So what was the biggest change going, when you guys actually went to Metal Blade? What was the biggest change from Metal Blade, from Relapse to Metal Blade when you guys actually signed on with them?
We've only been on Metal Blade for a little while now, so we haven't even put out an album with them yet, so we haven't worked too closely with them in terms of, being on tour all around and stuff. I mean, this is the first tour we've done since
the first tour with Metal Blade? Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
it's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, so far so good, I mean, they're all really cool people. We've met with them, a few times, and they seem really into the band. So we're really stoked to work with them. But we don't. it's a lot remains to be seen. But
He gave us a private jet and stuff, so that was a little bit different. But
They give you a cruise liner too?
yeah, well, that's
yeah,
coming.
man.
You know, it takes a minute to build those.
Mike
things.
Bailey gives you a foot rub when we signed with him.
That'd be cool. I'd be okay with 2 Asian hookers myself.
Well,
That comes later.
that was in our bonus contract. We had to sell a certain number of records.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a performance bonus, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you, Dave. Tell me what your influences are, because you're just—I've seen some YouTube videos and I've heard just amazing things about you, and seeing how you perform. Where do you get most of your influences from, and with just the insane way you play? I mean, where did you, growing up, who were some of your icons and idols?
For me, I mean, Joe Perry was the reason I started playing guitar. So Aerosmith, when I was like a really young kid, got me into just rock in general. After that, it was Slash, and then it was Dimebag.
Hell yeah, dude.
That was sort of my gateway drug into metal. And as soon as I found Pantera, it was like the floodgates sort of opened up. And
Definitely,
so
dude.
many different bands, meeting underground dudes like Luke LeMay from Gorguts, Stan Von Grain from Martyr. Like the list just goes on and on of different, awesome good guys in the metal world. And then eventually, starting in high school and college and stuff like that, I branched out and was getting more and more into like different jazz guitar players like Pat Martino. And
That's very cool. I heard you're trained in jazz, right? You're trained in
I
jazz
went
a
to
little bit?
Berkeley and studied a lot of jazz there.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I mainly studied with jazz guitar players at Berkeley just to sort of go out of my comfort zone.
That's awesome, dude. So you're kind of trained in everything. You're just like a master guitarist. You know everything pretty much.
Well, I wouldn't say master, but I mean, I think it's good to expose yourself to a lot of different things because it just sort of enriches you as a musician, and hopefully, it enriches you as a person.
Yeah, definitely. And what about you? What were some influences? What was your gateway into metal? I mean, well, first off, who was your first experience, I guess, in rock?
John Bonham, I think, was my first favorite drummer. My old man got me into Zeppelin when I was like a really young kid, and
Good influence.
Bonham was just a total psychopath behind the kid, and in real life. So I think that had an impression on me as well. And then once we started listening to Pantera, Vinnie Paul was a huge guy of mine. Dave Lombardo, Pete Sandoval, and then got more into the Gene Hoglan was a huge influence of mine.
Cool, man.
And then I started getting more into death metal. We both had that kind of. We both had Pantera, and then it was just like, oh shit, like all right. Then it's the death metal world kind of opened up, and then a lot of guys like I don't know, Dave Haley and what the fuck is his name from Anata, Connie Peterson.
Very cool, man.
Big influence on me. Patrice Hamelin, also from Martyr, who's done touring with Gorguts now. But like they said, there's so many. There's so many bands that we've listened to over the years, and love kind of taking ideas from here and there that it's tough to narrow down just a few.
Very cool. What's the most kind of awkward? Not really awkward, but what's the most, I guess, niche genre you might listen to or have influences by?
I really like soul music a lot. I don't know if it influenced my playing all that much, but that's what I like to listen to a lot of the time. I don't know. Dave likes a lot of like weird jazz stuff and some different pop. We all listen to a lot of different stuff. Dan's pretty true as far as his musical taste goes. He likes some grunge and stuff like that, but
like old school Nirvana stuff.
Oh yeah, Nirvana's his favorite band.
Nirvana, yeah, man, they definitely
like his number one album.
They were like iconic in that. So what is it about the aspects of death metal for you guys? What is it about death metal that really just makes it stand out and makes it just fun to play for you guys?
To me, it was the musicianship. Especially some of like the really, really extreme bands. Like, it seemed like when I was a kid discovering bands for the first time, I was like, oh, no one can play faster than these guys. And then you find another band, you're like, so like, the whole, the speed thing and just sort of the compositions, arrangements, the guitar playing. It's just definitely depending on the band, of course, but there's like a lot of outside of the box kind of thinking and bands that are truly unique to me, like in my opinion, like a band like Anata or Martyr or Gorguts.
Oh yeah.
Spinal Possession. There's just like some really, really interesting musical shit going on.
Yeah, I don't know how the guitarist's fingers don't fall off on the drummers, man. You must have you must have calves of steel, for God's sakes. You must be like fucking madman, huh?
A lot of super glue to keep it all intact.
Oh yeah. Do you do any triple bass?
triple bass.
Triple bass. I know some people do like triple bass, like the real fast fucking beating.
I've never heard of triple bass.
Triple bass.
Triplets.
Triplets. Yeah, triplets.
I mean, yeah.
You do a lot of that. You do a lot of
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I do it all.
Very cool, man. Now, as far as I totally fucked that up. That's okay though.
He does fucking quintuplet.
I do four.
Quintuplet.
I play with 4 bass drums.
That's awesome, dude. Fuck.
He plays one with his head.
You're a madman. See, there you go, man. That adds to the stage presence in the actual show, you know. You gotta crack your skull open, man. You gotta have the blood and
Well, I
everything.
put a big wool mallet over my head, so I don't want to get any traumatic brain injuries. But it still sounds
You wouldn't mind something facial area,
You
you
do
know?
enough drinking as it is.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah,
some
man.
trauma to
As long as you
body.
don't fall asleep drunk on the front of the bus or the RV, I've heard that's like the bad thing to do.
I think I did that in Europe a couple years ago, but other than that,
Did your pubic hair get set on fire by chance? I've heard stories about that kind of stuff.
I Brazilian wax everything, so I don't have any pubic hair.
So you're saying you don't manscape, you just go for the whole thing. This whole fucking thing's going.
Takes the blowtorch
once
to it.
once a month, we got the spot in Oklahoma City that I like stopping by, and they just get it all done.
That's cool. Want to name the place for everybody so I can go there?
No way, man, it's my special spot.
He's not telling us secrets. Sorry, he won't tell. So if you guys could tour with anybody, I know you guys have toured with quite a few bands. What would be your dream band to tour with, and why?
Probably Metallica, just because they're so massively huge, and they were definitely like a big influence on us growing up.
yeah.
And we did a Metallica cover song.
Which one?
We did Dyer's Eve.
Oh, I love that song, dude.
Justice for All. I mean, as a band, to be able to tour with them, I mean, you'd be playing in front of like insane amounts of people every day.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. So as long as you didn't say Saint Anger, I'd be, I'm glad you didn't say Saint Anger. That was like terrible. Anyway, I don't know. That whole album, I don't know. I say it all the time, like I just seem to like say it never existed. I could say it's somebody else's song or something. I don't know. So I got a question. What is the hardest thing besides being away from friends and family? What is the single hardest thing about touring?
Lack of sleep.
Yeah.
It's the tough thing, man.
Yeah, we still tour in the van. It's save money and stuff like that. It's definitely financially straining to be out on the road. So, and we drive ourselves. I mean, last night we drove from Detroit, which is about 9 hours.
Wow.
And living in a van, that kind of thing, and it's fun. It's a blast. We wouldn't trade it for the world, but it definitely can be taxing on your.
Hopefully there's good
body.
hygiene involved, right? Hopefully good hygiene.
I showered
hell no.
today, which was cool.
No, we're
but
disgusting.
It's been a few days.
You're filthy pigs, huh?
Yeah,
Like 5 days, 7 days without
we are
shower?
animals.
Maybe
We actually
no shower off one
we were
time.
actually cleaning our van out today in a parking lot in Knoxville, and some cops rolled up on us because they must have assumed we were just like homeless vagrants. They thought that we were bathing in the Bank of America bathroom.
That's funny.
And so, yeah, I mean, we just look like shit. But, all that stuff, those are kind of what we perceive as minor hardships, just because, stuff like that, it's just kind of funny. But, the sleep thing does suck after a while. It's like, even if you're not driving, you're, like, being shaken
Tossed
around in the back of the van, and you just kind of feel, just zombified after a little while.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's worth it, man. Like,
definitely.
we'd rather do this than work some 9 to 5 and some job we hate.
The shitty job that I have, yeah.
Which we have to do when we get home.
Yeah, which we have to
anyway.
do.
So you guys don't tour. This isn't like when you go home, you have to go back to your some
Well,
sort
yeah,
of
we all
shitty
have
job.
our jobs that we go back to. I mean, it's just hard to make ends meet in this business. I mean, the band is growing more and more, but at the same time, and that's why it's important that for fans to come out to shows, support the bands, pick up a CD, pick up a T-shirt, all that stuff really does help us because it directly benefits us while we're on tour, trying to make it happen and get to that next level. Because all of us would love to be able to go home and just fully dedicate ourselves to music, but everyone's got their own things that they need to do just to to pay the bills and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a grind.
That's a misconception, I think, too, with bands like you guys. When you guys are out touring with a band like Whitechapel, who's monumental, they're just humongous. I think that the thing is, these guys are on stage and they got all these trailers and buses and stuff. They think that you guys are just like making tons and tons of money, like you guys are millionaires. Like, no, you guys are out here. You guys are true road warriors.
And the thing is, the expenses are so high out here. Even if you're generating a decent amount of money, it's all going back into the band.
You got the axle blows out here, or a leaf spring there. All that stuff adds up.
When you got crew. I mean, the musicians are the last ones to get paid.
Yeah.
Managers get paid. Booking agents get paid. Crew.
So buy those CDs, kids.
Yeah, there you go.
Help us
Buy
out.
those CDs. Buy Revocation shit. They're great. They're an awesome band, and they're truly awesome dudes as well. So, I'll let you go with this one. Just go ahead and give us your social links. Any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Our Instagram is just Revocation. I think our Twitter is just Revocation, and our Facebook is
Revocation.
just Facebook.com.
And I'm guessing your website is this www.revocation.com?
I don't think we have a website.
No website.
I think we're working on one.
Oh, man.
No, there's just so many things. That's one more expense, man. Don't remind me, dude.
You gotta get somebody that's all geeky like me. Like you gotta get geek.
So 1999. Right?
1999. It's all about the social media, motherfuckers.
You
That's
can
right.
find this, the best way is on our MySpace. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
MySpace. And wait, is that the old MySpace or the new MySpace?
I don't even know.
Fucking
anymore.
MySpace. That's like the unhippest thing
You can
now.
download our new album at mp3.com.
Okay, very cool. It's like
DAT tape.
it's like MySpace is like fucking 8 tracks, but I don't know. 8 tracks are make a comeback. I heard or
I
something.
know, I heard that too.
Vinyls make a comeback too. It's like all the nostalgic shit.
Yeah, well, at this point, like, people don't need to buy a record for the music anymore because it's so easy to download. So I think people, when they are going to spend money on something, they want kind of like
special.
they want like a kind of token of it. It's not having the vinyl. It's like much bigger artwork, there's sort of more layout involved. People like having it more as a collector's item than anything else.
Definitely, man. Well, I appreciate your time, fellas, and you guys tear it up, melt some faces. I'll be in the crowd cheering you guys on.
Yeah, man.
I really appreciate your time, and safe travels to you guys.
Thanks very much.
And this has been Insanity Live here with 2 members of Revocation. And you're listening to Broken Neck Radio, metal that makes you want to break shit.